Broadcasting from coast to coast. It's the Financial Safari with your host, Coach Pete D'Arruda. You'll hear from some of the nation's top financial professionals. So stick around and find out how to make it through the jungle of the financial world, right here on the Financial Safari.
Welcome to Financial Safari TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Coach Pete, better known as the People's Choice. Coach Pete, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I have been doing fantastic, and I know you've been exceptionally busy, so I'm so thankful that we have this time together because thank you for carving out a little bit of time to reach out to our viewing audience at home.
It's always fun to talk to you. It's
Oh,
always fun to talk to you.
Thank you.
So today, we're going to talk about a lot of different financial topics.
Yes.
And probably people watching will say, well, one of them's interesting to them, the other one might not be. That's just like financial world. We have a financial grab bag, and we basically have to reach in and decide what we're going to talk about. But every single day, I engineer my conversations around what people want to talk about when they come in to see us.
Sure.
So some people are worried about Social Security, maximizing their Social Security, making sure they have a tax-free retirement, or making sure they really do have a retirement income, and solving for that retirement income gap, Cynthia. That's very important.
Sure. Coach Pete, what causes a retirement income gap?
Number one is lack of planning sometimes, or being told something you thought was true that wasn't true. This happens way too much. Like your broker keeps telling you everything's going to be fine, don't worry, when you get to retirement you'll get plenty of income, but they never tell you what the income's going to be. I'm a pretty much of a show me, not tell me kind of person, so if everything's going to be fine, I'm going to have plenty of income, what will that income be? Tell it to me and guarantee it. If it's not guaranteed, it's really not part of a plan.
Sure.
If we're building a retirement plan where it's pretty absolute. When you tell the boss you're quitting, or the boss tells you you're not welcome anymore, you're retired. So when we are retired, we need to make sure that our money starts to pay us a salary for the rest of our lives.
Sure.
And that's called income planning. The only way to do this is to have a real team work behind the scenes and put together a true income plan.
Okay.
And now we can solve for income gap. Income gap is basically when we retire, now we don't get a check anymore from our company. That's called a pension. Companies used to give you a check when you retire. They basically stopped doing that. It's up to you now to fund your own 401k, 403b, thrift savings plan. But you also get Social Security. Now, Social Security is the money that comes in. If you claim Social Security right, you can get the maximum benefit that you're entitled to, and you should. If you don't, you could end up costing yourself a lot of money. That pays the necessities many times. It pays like the water bill and hopefully the heat. But if you want to do anything fun in life, you need to have your own income sources. We call those income streams.
Okay.
So, Coach, how do I get an income stream? I've got this big lump sum in my 401k plan, which, by the way, the 401k, don't we call that a retirement plan?
Sure.
But it really doesn't answer the retirement question, does it?
Exactly.
It builds a lump sum, which is fun to look at. But you have to know that lump sum is not all yours, because a lot of that's going to go away in taxes. And number two, if you start taking money out of that lump sum, it'll go down in value. So you hope the market recovers, right, and keeps going back up. But what if the market goes down and you're taking money out? Now you start to get worried, because you could get down to zero and you're out of business in retirement. You can't be out of business in retirement. So we need to know if we could take some of that money into 401k, that lump sum balance, and we can know with certainty what portions of that balance will give us as far as a lifetime income we could never outlive whenever we choose to activate the income. Then it makes it a whole lot easier to have a real retirement plan, because now we know what our income's going to be. And Cynthia, what I like to talk about is we can tell you with the guaranteed minimum income you'll get in the future.
Okay.
We can't tell you the maximum because we don't know, because the vehicles we use let you share in the gain of the market when the market goes up, but when the market goes down, your money doesn't go down. It stays there.
Okay.
So share in the gain, don't give back. We call that advance and protect.
Okay.
And so if we have a lot of good gain years in between now and retirement, the number that I tell you you're going to get lifetime income is going to be a lot smaller than the real number. So we have the minimum we talk about, and then there's a maximum somewhere up here. Somewhere in the middle is where you're going to fall. But when we design our plans, we tell you about the worst case scenario.
That's
not
really
negative,
important.
but we're pretending the market goes down every single year until retirement. You need to know what that number would be, just in case it happens. But wouldn't it be great to have more than that number? What we see way too many times, and when people come in to see us, they say, well, my broker said I'm going to get this amount of money. I'm going to have 10% growth a year or whatever. And they're not getting it. So they've been overpromised and underperformed. Wouldn't it be great to underpromise and overperform?
Of course.
That's what we do. And that's why we've never had a complaint in 29 years, is because, almost 29 years, because we do what we say what we do, and we don't overpromise. There's nothing worse than being overpromised in anything in life.
That is amazing. 29 years and not one complaint.
No
you
complaints.
should be very proud of that.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm always worried, though, because we want to make sure that everything stays the same, right? Because when you go to a restaurant, you see people complaining all the time. We're in a complaint society right now.
Of course, of course.
What do they call that? You build you up and then you take you down. A cancel culture, we call it, right? And so I'm crossing my fingers every day that everything goes like we say. And because we do what we say, and when we're using the truth, you can't argue about it. Someone could complain about the truth, and sometimes we have to deliver bad news because, hey, you don't have enough money put aside for income, to have the income you want in retirement. What can we do next? Or your broker didn't build your money like they thought, so now you have an income gap. So how do we fill that income gap? Well, we can take some monies from other places and we can put them in that advance and protect strategy where you always have the money going forward, and you also know what your income is going to be. And I like 2, 3, 4, 5 different streams of income in retirement that you choose when you want to activate these streams, and they never run out the rest of your life and next to your spouse's life too. It goes on and on and on. And so it is the true stream that never stops. Income stream.
And I love that you plan for the worst case scenario, just in case, because so often people don't. You think everything's going to be smooth sailing, but Coach Pete, history repeats itself. We've had some pretty tumultuous years.
Exactly. And who knows what's going to happen next, right? Yeah. We never thought what would have happened through the COVID stuff would have happened.
Exactly.
We never thought 9/11 would have happened. Things happen.
Yeah.
We never thought the banks would have taken people's mortgages and divided them up in hundreds of pieces and fractionalized them and had the mortgage fiasco in 2007, 8, 9. Remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
And so could it happen again? Well, history always repeats itself, unfortunately, right? So we need to make sure, though, that we isolate some of our money, put a force field around our money, and make sure the money doesn't go away. I call it financial tethering. Let's make sure, when you see the parades, the Macy's Day parades back in the day, the big old blow-up things, and they had like 50 people around it with strings holding, like ropes, trying to hold it down. Well, that's what's happening many times to people's portfolios. They have too many brokers making money out of holding it down, but sometimes holding money down is a good thing because it's holding it away from getting taken advantage of or blown away. So tethering can be used on a good part or a bad part. It can be used to hold your money down with financial termites, risk fees, commissions, or it can be used to keep your money from blowing away. So you need the proper tethering in place in the financial vehicles. And so how do you do that? You need to deal with someone who's a true fiduciary, and we are, and who's a true retirement planner, because I am a retirement income certified professional. Folks, there aren't many people that have that designation for a reason. Very intense. 3 courses, each one with a proctored exam. I don't like tests, Cynthia. It took 2 years to get it, but it was worth it, right?
Yeah,
it's through American College, because now, I've been doing this since I started in the financial world, but now I can with certainty tell you about lifetime income you can never outlive. And that's the beauty of a true retirement plan. If you just have lump sums and you're getting into retirement, you don't have a true retirement plan. So if you're dealing with someone, they keep saying your retirement's going to be fine. When you get close, we're going to tell you what you're going to get. No, folks, you need to know right now what you can get at any time in the future, and we can do that. So don't let anyone tell you can't do that, because it is possible. We do it every single day. And you could have it done for you, folks, if you call right now. I'm also going to give you a 3-book set, and I've got a DVD, I've got a workbook, guidebook series, and a box set called a 401k Survival Manual box set. We have more information in our office than a lot of libraries do, I think, because it's all financially educated for you. So call the number. The next 10 people, this is over $1,000 value. Our strategies work best for those of you with over $1 million for retirement, save for retirement. But as long as you have at least $1,000 put aside, we will help you. That's where the 1,000 came from. So we want to make sure that people, anyone watching, gets a true retirement plan in place. And no one should be kicked out or told they can't have one, because I think everyone deserves to at least know what your retirement number is going to be and what you could have based on lump sums you have put aside already. So as long as you are serious about trying to get a plan together, we're serious about helping you. We spend a lot of time doing that forensic analysis and analyzing what people already have. And we find so many mistakes, Cynthia. So the best time to find them is and clean them up is right now. So that's why, let's make it 20 instead of 10. The next 20 people who call, we'll put it all together for them.
Coach Pete, thank you so much. I love when you open up the phone lines, because they are still, like, they're lighting up as we're speaking. So to the viewers at home, it is time for us to take a very short commercial break, but we know you have a lot of questions about how to plan your perfect retirement. Just by calling the number on the screen, Coach Pete is offering the next 20 callers the opportunity to have a very comprehensive plan put in place. Once again, the phone lines are now open. Call the number on your screen. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to have more questions and answers about planning your retirement.
And now, a nightmare retirement consultation. Yeah, no pain, no gain, right? No risk, no reward, right? We're going all risk, see? We're gonna put everything you got in the market. You're gonna love it. Don't walk, run from that office and go to your future retirement partner with your best interest in mind and with a plan that's customized for your risk tolerance and that can help increase your financial confidence in retirement.
Meeting our son.
Crazy road trips.
Memories with Grandpa.
Meeting with a financial advisor.
My first job.
My fourth job.
Exploring our world.
Our world. Our first date.
Our
Special song.
Securing my retirement.
Family and friends.
Family and friends.
Your retirement journey
Begins here.
Our podcast, Financial Pizza, brings you our favorite radio segments of the week. Delivering slices of interviews with financial advisors from around the country, along with special reports on a variety of retirement topics. All brought to you hot, fresh, and in 30 minutes or less. Listen on your favorite podcasting app or visit financialpizza.com.
Welcome back to Financial Safari TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Coach Pete, better known as the People's Choice. Great first segment, Coach Pete. And I have to just jump in and ask you, why do so many people not have a true retirement plan in place? What's your opinion on that?
I just think that life gets in the way, Cynthia, or we're told that we're fine, or that everything's going to be fine when we get there, but we don't know. And so I'm an in writing kind of guy. I mean, you can tell me, but show me.
Yeah.
Show me everything's fine. Let's see, what's my number? How much am I really going to get in retirement?
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, folks, there are ways where we can tell you, based on what you have put aside, if we put it in the right places, what your lifetime income would be right now.
Okay.
You could start today, or you could start 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road. We can tell you exactly what it's going to be no matter when.
Okay.
Anywhere in between there, too, which is amazing. It's like a crystal ball in the financial world. It is. We can look ahead. We can tell you exactly what you're going to get income-wise.
Okay.
Folks, that takes a lot of worry out of planning and living in retirement, knowing what the income's going to be. And if it's not good enough, if you don't like it, well, then there's still ways we can make changes going forward. But at least you know what the minimum's going to be based on what you have put aside right now.
Sure.
That's good. That's good to know. Really is.
Absolutely.
And so optimizing your retirement plan or your stock plans are very important now. What does optimize mean? Well, it means proper diversification in your whole portfolio.
Okay.
When we talk about, if I say the word diversification to you, what do you think? And I want people out in the TV land to think about this too. Hear diversification. You hear that word. What does that mean in the stock market?
Multiple senses, multiple streams, if you will. That would be my opinion, Coach Pete.
Yeah, what a lot of people say diversification is stocks, bonds, mutual funds. I'm diversified. I have stocks, I have bonds, I have mutual funds. Guess what they all have in common? Stocks, bonds, mutual funds are all risk.
Okay.
Bonds, people say, what was Coach Pete talking about? Bonds don't have any risk. Yes, as interest rates are very low now. So as interest rates start to go up, bond prices will go down. So there's the risk element. So because we're in a low interest rate environment, right? I mean, look at the mortgage rates. Yeah, so if interest rates start to go up, your bond prices are going to go down, which means you're going to be locked into a bond you can't sell anybody else because they don't want it.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to be careful now because stocks, bonds, mutual funds, all risk. So that's not true diversification. True diversification is diversifying amongst all different asset classes and income sources.
Okay.
See, one thing we didn't talk about when we said stocks, bonds, mutual funds, not one of those gives you lifetime income that's guaranteed. So we need to take some of the money away from there and put it in what I call green accounts. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds are red accounts. That means they could go up a lot, but they could also go down a lot.
Okay.
And then we have yellow. Yellow is emergency money. That's money you keep in CDs or under the pillow or bank accounts, those kind of things. Money you can get immediately.
Okay.
Emergency. I've seen way too many people lately with way too much money in yellow accounts. You're not gaining much money. In a bank, you're lucky to get 1 or 2%.
Absolutely.
Inflation historically is about 3% on average. So if you're only getting 2% at the bank and inflation is 3%, every year you're losing 1% of buying power. So in effect, you are losing money safely.
Wow.
So nothing wrong with it. And I love people having emergency accounts.
Sure.
And if you have rental properties or if you have real estate, you need about 9 months worth of expenses for each one of those properties in your emergency account.
Okay.
What if a tenant doesn't pay and you still have a mortgage on that property? Well, then you're going to have to use your emergency account to pay it.
Absolutely.
And it might take a long time to get the tenant out these days.
Absolutely.
Okay? So that's yellow. So green is the most overlooked of all the asset classes. That gives you growth when you don't need the money. It advances your money. It protects your money. So you got growth, protection, and then the best element of the green accounts, you have lifetime income you can never outlive.
Okay.
There's the retirement plan.
Nice.
In the green accounts. And Cynthia, most people come in and we diagram out on our 8-foot whiteboard where people are right now. Folks, it's great to see in writing. Most of the money's in red. A lot of it's in yellow now. Not much in green because green is not pushed by Wall Street because Wall Street can't make commissions out of your money sometimes every single year on those annuities. So we have to be very careful on the green accounts need to be established, and we need lifetime income accounts. Taking some money off. And here's what it does too. not only do you have a lifetime income now if you do it right, but you have proper diversification. Because now you're diversified amongst red, green, yellow, instead of all in red, just scrambled like scrambled eggs over on the red side.
Okay.
We need 3 distinctive eggs yolks in 3 different counts, right? 1 in red, 1 in yellow, 1 in green.
Okay.
And I, every now and then, I'll try to make my daughter an egg like that, and I'll break it when I flip it. So we need to make sure it doesn't get broken. So the ones in the green account will never break when you flip them.
Okay.
The yellow ones will never really need to be flipped because it's not cooking that much, because it's only 1 or 2% interest, but it's safe.
Okay.
The red accounts, they could crack all the time.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
So we have to be very careful how we design our plans, and we have to be very, very careful with the terms. So diversification, big one, and diversifying amongst asset classes and income sources. That next part, that part B, is overlooked.
Okay.
Well, we'll do that. The next 10 people call, we'll make sure they get their very own lifetime income explained to them, and we'll make sure to categorize all what you have now, red, green, yellow, but we'll design a plan that encompasses all 3 of those colors in the proper order and design based on what you say you want to do in retirement.
That's
Makes
perfect.
sense?
Coach Pete, what is your opinion on annuities? I know there's a lot of negative stereotype on some of them for different commercials and what have you, but what's your opinion with annuities?
Well, I call it the annuity soup or annuity gumbo. There's 4 distinctive kind of annuities, and unfortunately, there's one that's like the misbehaving brother in the family, right? I had 2 brothers, I'm one of 3. One of us was always in trouble. Teachers was one that was really in trouble a lot, so our last name became synonymous with in trouble, so we got blamed for what the other brother did.
Okay.
So annuities, right? So annuities have the same last name, but they have different first names.
Okay.
The first name that I don't like, the only name that I don't like, is called a variable annuity.
Okay.
Your money can go up and down all around. That is a red account.
Okay.
To me, annuities should be all green. There's green accounts because they will protect your money, they'll advance your money, and they'll give you lifetime income. But the variable annuity can go up and down, has a lot of fees and expenses, like up to 3 or 4% every year coming out. Why do people have variable annuities? Because brokers want to sell an annuity, but they want to make money every year on you.
Okay.
Very careful on variable annuities. Then there's a fixed indexed annuity, which lets you share in the gain of the market and locks your gain in every year. There's a bunch of them out there, though, Cynthia, so some are good, some are bad. That's why it's important to deal with a fiduciary planning firm that's independent. If you're dealing with a salesperson who works for one insurance company and their product's not that good, guess what they're going to sell everybody? That product, because they're told to.
Yeah,
to work with a bank, a lot of times the bankers have to push certain mutual funds or stocks or stuff like that. So just make sure to have your annuity analyzed. I love annuities for lifetime income if you get the right one.
Okay.
So getting the right fit is very important, and I will explain it to anybody who wants to call. But don't be fooled by hearing that all annuities are bad or all annuities are good. They're good and they're bad. They're perfect fits and they're awful fits. Sort of like shoes.
Okay.
So let's make sure you get the proper fit for you. And they improve too, like cars. So you may have an older annuity or may have heard bad things. Annuities got really good the last 4 or 5 years. Insurance companies have really stepped up to give you that lifetime income and protect the money you want protected and make sure you have growth when you're not needing it. So let's make sure to just get everything analyzed and get a real plan put together. So next 10 people will do that for me, no cost. It's a $1,000 value, and our strategies do work best for those of you with over $1 million saved for retirement.
Absolutely. This is the perfect time for us to open up the phone lines, Coach Pete, and they're already lighting up, so I'm so glad we're going to go ahead and do that. To the viewing audience at home, the phone lines are once again now open. Just call the number that's on your screen today. We know you have a lot of questions about how to plan your perfect retirement. Coach Pete has the answers for you. Once again, to the next 10 callers, the phone lines are now open. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
It really does take the worry out of living in retirement if you get a true income plan built into your total plan. And that's why we try to future-proof your portfolio. Look at what you want to do in the future. Make sure you have protected money, protected from inflation, protected from risk and taxation, to make sure that you get that income all the way through retirement so you can do what you want to do. Because that's what retirement's all about.
Take the mystery out of retirement planning by mapping out where you are now. Expose the hidden fees and commissions from working with your current plan or advisor. Discover how you can possibly reduce your taxes and increase your cash flow. Create a customized lifetime income plan that could turbocharge your retirement. In short, take the guesswork out of financial planning.
And welcome back to Financial Safari TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Coach Pete, better known as the People's Choice. Coach Pete, let me ask you a question, and I love how you use this terminology, but why is it sometimes your retirement plan is like a hitchhiker? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you don't want it to be, by the way.
Okay.
So we've all been driving down the road and seen somebody hitchhiking.
Right.
I've never picked one up. Some people do. I just don't want to put my life at risk or whatever. But here's how I compare it to retirement. The reason why the person's hitchhiking many times is they might have a gas can in their hand, right? Or maybe the car ran out of gas.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. And so when we get to retirement, if we don't have a properly designed retirement plan and we run out of money, we're like that hitchhiker. We're basically stumbling through retirement with no plan and no money. So we don't want to be in retirement with that gas can empty. We never want our plan to run out of money. And if we design it right ahead of time, folks, very important. If you design it right ahead of time, you will never, ever run out of money. Matter of fact, you could have increasing income all the way through retirement if you designed the proper income streams, they're called.
Okay.
Got a new wine out called Income Stream, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. So
is that California, Washington?
It's California
okay.
Red, California Red, California Red, Income Stream. But when we talk about income, there's nothing better. Last year I had a wine called First Down because there was no better thing if you're watching football than your team getting a first down. That means they're moving down the field. And I did a show with Terrell Davis. He's a Hall of Fame running back with the Denver Broncos, Super Bowl MVP. And we did a radio show together for years. And he said, Coach, the most important part of the football, our coach would always say, we need to get 4 yards every play because we'll always get first downs. First downs move the ball down the field the right way.
Okay.
In retirement, we want to get first down every single year because we want a new income coming in. Every single year we get another income check.
Okay.
It's called a financial fill-up. You can design it every month if you want it. Some people like it monthly. Some people want a big check every year. It's up to you.
Okay.
If we design different income streams, maybe we have one come on March, one come on May, one come on September, and one come in January. So now you get 4 different income streams.
I love that. That's awesome.
And it's very fun to have that happen.
Yeah.
Because we know that it's going to continue to come all the way through our lives and all the way through our spouse's lives.
Okay.
That's a true income plan. That gives you true peace of mind, and that is that true diversification we talked about earlier, where we have our diversified money between risk, safety, and income. There's 3 parts. We always remember the risk diversification. We got different stocks or different mutual funds, maybe a bond or 2, all risk, red accounts. We need to have some green money, where we have lifetime income. We have growth, protect that growth, and then lifetime income when we decide to get that, when we activate it. We're in control. We meaning whoever has the strategy, not we meaning the money company. So we meaning you. We, that's yes, right? So then we flip the income switch, we activate it, and now we get lifetime income, not only for us, but for our spouse too.
Okay.
And then if we pass away too soon, if we both pass away, if there's a balance here still, it goes on to the next of kin. If there's no balance, you continue to get the income all the way through your lives anyway. That's the magic.
That is.
Who could go down to a bank and you got a zero balance, you go and ask for money, they're probably going to call the cops. They say you try to rob the bank.
Exactly.
But you can get a zero balance check for the rest of your life in the proper strategies. That's a true retirement plan. That's a pension. And so that's what companies used to do for us, and they've cut that out when the 401k came in the 90s. They said, oh, this is a good way to now not have to fund our retirement for our employees. We'll make them do it.
Yeah.
Shifted the burden. So folks, that's why we have the 401k. That's why you look at that 401k balance and you say, gosh, that's a big balance. It is, maybe for some of you, but we need to know that a lot of that money there in the 401k is going to be taxable.
Sure.
And we also need to know that if we don't have a proper income plan, that lump sum won't look quite as big when we're having to take money out. And what if we're having to take money out of that lump sum and the market crashes and now we wonder if our retirement's going to be there. So there are ways where you can have lifetime income guaranteed for the rest of your life. Everybody listening and watching needs to get this. I would say the next 20 people that call, we'll do it for them. I've got a 3-book set. Now, one of the books that I recommend is the book that my most recent one, which is a bestseller, The 7 Baby Steps. Okay. This is my favorite book. People love this book. I tie stories of my childhood in there and tie it into the financial world, because the financial world's complex.
Okay.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Tedious.
Okay.
But it really comes down to 2 things. What kind of money do you have now? What kind of income do you want later?
Okay.
Everything in between is fluff, noise, whatever. But we can show you, based on the balances you have, what kind of income you could be guaranteed at the minimum amount. It could be more, not less.
Okay.
So this way you design a true plan around knowing what the minimums are. And in the back of our mind, we know that what we're hoping, it's going to be better than the minimums, but it'll never be worse.
Sure.
So then you can design a plan. If we give you the blue sky, I call it, where we're saying, oh, if everything goes right, if the Big Dipper aligns with the North Star and whatever, you look up at the sky and the moon goes between it, then you're going to get 10% a year. Well, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So we need to know with certainty what our lifetime income is going to be.
Sure, for peace of mind.
It does, and that's what it really comes down to. Having when you have true understanding, that's a feature. Understand, but the true benefit is you're not worrying anymore.
Absolutely.
And you're able to live your life. And the main advantage is you're not sitting there having to run to the TV, turn on to see what Kramer's saying to see if your money's up or down.
Yeah.
right? So we need to isolate some of our money from the noise and minutia of the market, and we need that lifetime income plan. We need to utilize the stock market too. In a special managed accounts, we call that the Explore account. But we never recommend Explore. That's when you go up and down, you go way high, go way down, until we have our core funded. The core is your lifetime income accounts.
Okay.
Many of you watching don't have the core accounts right now. We see this over and over again when we diagram out on our big whiteboard, red, green, yellow. Lots of red, some yellow, that's emergency accounts. Red is risk, by the way.
Okay. Not
much green. Green gives you that peace of mind knowing what, you know with certainty what your income's going to be. Now you're in control. You can build a plan around that. So that's what we do. I mean, it's
okay.
Kind of simple to us because we do it all the time, but it's complex if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're dealing with a planner who is more concerned about keeping your money at risk. Because if they keep your money at risk in those risk accounts, they're compensated on that risk accounts. So once it goes into safe accounts, they're not compensated anymore a lot of times. So that might be why they don't like safety. I love safety because when the market goes down, you realize how important safety is.
Yeah.
Not all your money, some of your money for the income you want in the future.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Absolutely. Coach Pete, for people that are obtaining the complimentary consultation that you're offering today, is there a list that they need to bring with them? Any documents that you need them to bring?
The funny thing is, through market crashes, when people have come in the past, they'll bring in statements, but the statements are still in the envelopes and they're not open yet.
Right.
If you don't open it, it didn't happen, right? So one year I designed a special letter opener and I gave everyone here, take a letter opener home with you. So we still have some in the office, I think. Now it's important to bring everything that you want understood, or you want to understand, and you want us to explain to you. Bring everything in. I say take one of those big old shopping bags and just sweep all your statements in there, and then we'll help. We have gigantic conference tables. We'll open your statements for you if you need them.
Okay.
We'll itemize it, and then we'll diagram out, take all the statements, and make it very easy to understand with the balances up on our whiteboard. And we categorize those in red, green, yellow.
Okay.
So when we do that, we have a big list in red many times, but we don't have any green. And so then we show you, well, I would take this and move it over here. Sort of like we diagram a football play out on the board.
Sure.
John Madden used to do it on TV. Oh, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So we just need to know with certainty what our money's going to do for us instead of not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And so if we're not even understanding our statements or not really looking at them, we don't really know what's going on. So folks, there's ways to get educated, and there's ways to get that peace of mind. It really feels great when you design a real plan because now you don't have to worry anymore.
Sure.
And so new money comes, you get new money, you decide if you want to do red, green, yellow, but now you understand all those red, green, yellow and what they benefit you, how they benefit you and how they hurt you if you're in the wrong place.
Absolutely.
So again, we'll do this for the next 20 people who call as we leave for the week. And I've got a 3-book set for you. I've got my DVD on retirement. I gave this away last week. People love it.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to have a DVD player.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And I've got my book, The 7 Baby Steps, and a couple other ones you can have. I've written 8, you get to choose. So that's all. So let's do it. Let's give it away to the next 20 people and then a golden ticket for your no-cost, true retirement plan put together for you by a fiduciary team.
Which is invaluable.
It's a $1,000 value.
Because people need to have that peace of mind. So often they just don't know where to go. So
I agree.
Thank you so much for your time this week. I always enjoy seeing you, and I love the information that you share with the viewers at home. To the viewing audience at home, the phone lines are now open. Thank you so much for spending time with us again this week. We know you have a lot of questions for Coach Pete. We'll see you back here again next week. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and retire comfortably. Thank you.